And hello race fans, and we're back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to continue on with the Indianapolis 100 festivities, this time with knockout qualifying. We've done this format back in 2020 for this race, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how it will work for this year. 2 years ago and back in 2020 it was not televised, but this year we're going to be doing it. So here's how knockout qualifying is going to work for these drivers. All 34 cars will be out on the racetrack to determine the starting lineup, and for 15 minutes, this first round is 15 minutes, and the fastest 12 will move on to the final round, which will be 10 minutes. So this will be pretty interesting to watch. First driver out onto the racetrack, that is the number 63 of Jordan Watt. By the way, just so everybody knows, opening practice, unfortunately, I forgot to reset the ratings, so all the ratings were pretty much realistic in relation to the real IndyCar drivers at the time of 2017, but they're all fixed up. They're good to go. Everybody's 100 across the board. And we should see everybody pretty much be competitive at this point. So now, Jordan Watt comes through turn 3. And now into turn number 4. We're about to see what his official time is going to be. The 56.148 is usually just where drivers cross the start-finish line just as they're going through pit road to get out onto the racetrack. And that's why you're seeing those 56-second lap times. The first 2 drivers on top of the charts, now 3. First is the 21 of Audra Baranowskis with a 40.605. 40.605 for Audra Baranowskis. Now Joey Miles goes to the top with a 40.436. And that kicks Baranowskis back to second. Wyatt Walker goes to the top. A 40.161. The 26 of John Andrews jumps up to second. Kathy Jabbar up to third. And the number 10 of Nathan Stapleton is in fourth with side-by-side with Ryan Durrani. Ooh, Wyatt, be careful. Now, this would be Wyatt Walker's first time in the Indianapolis 100. And from the looks of things, we've got a lot of Indianapolis 100 rookies. So this is going to be pretty interesting to watch here. The 26 of John Andrews goes to the top of the charts with a 40.145, kicking Wyatt Walker back to second. Let's see if we can find. Well, now the 28 of Colin Cropley goes to the top. Excuse me, Val Mosco with a 39.999. Are you kidding me? He is the first and only one right now that is broken into the 39-second bracket. Just barely by 1/1000th of a second. He's just under. Just under. Well, not anymore. The number 11 of Kathy Jabbar has now broken into that 39-second bracket with a 39.978. Moscow just bettered his time with a 39.981. Colin Cropley's at a 39.998. While the highest running driver, the fastest driver in the 40-second bracket, is the number 40 of Titan Nicholas with a 40.002. And as you're seeing here, Gordon goes up to the top. He's up in second with a 39.928. But you're seeing here the draft, especially in qualifying. We talked about it at the top of the show. in opening practice yesterday that the draft is such a huge key, whether it be racing or whether it be trying to get a really good qualifying time to get you up there, right, to send you to the final round for qualifying. And we're seeing that put into practice. Right now, Jeff Leafler, maybe it's Jeff Leafler, I don't know. So I do apologize if I do butcher your name. I think I'm just going to go with Leafler. But still, Jeff Leafler is on the bubble, just 3/1000ths of a second ahead of Wyatt Walker with his 40.126. Wyatt Walker's on the outside looking in as of right now. Let's see if we can find Wyatt. There he is, still hanging around this pack with Stapleton and also Ryan Durrani. Ryan Durrani in the throwback Daytona 500 back in February ended up winning the Clash and had himself a pretty solid time over back at Daytona when he was driving the number 5 Levi Garrett's machine, the Monte Carlo, from the 1988 throwback Daytona 500. I believe he ended up finishing 13th in the race. It's not too bad for a caution-free race where we almost saw a couple of crashes. And now you see driver now on the outside looking in is Nathan Stapleton, and the number 19 of Alex Ramps is holding on to the bubble spot. Meanwhile, let's take a look at your top 10. Jeff Leafler is now moved up into 8th with a 40.022. So right now, your fastest 12 currently goes as follows here, as we're going to find the number 11 of Kathy Jabbar. There she is. So top 10 goes, so top 12 in this case goes as follows. Kathy Jabbar would advance on along with Elijah Gordon, Colin Cropley, Val Moscow, Titan Nicholas, Henry Dahl, Joey Miles, Jeff Leafler, John Andrews, Casey Wells, the number 14 of Mitchell Hodak, and Wyatt Walker has now broken into the top 12 with a 40.084. Just 8. Whoa, we had a crash. And that is the 8 of Joey Miles. So Joey Miles has crashed. This is our first incident of the Indianapolis 100 festivities. Be sure to take a look at a replay of what happened to Joey Miles before we get to the final round. But that's a tough break for Joey Miles. His time will stand. And I'm not one of those people where that says if you crash, you go to the back. But the number 40 of Titan Nicholas has just bested Kathy Jabbar's time by 2/1000ths of a second, 39.900 for the number 40 of Titan Nicholas. Had a little bit of a phlegm buildup, do apologize. It's what happens when you wake up immediately at like 11 o'clock and then start recording at around 11:30. Just literally a couple hours before you have to get ready to go to work, but still. Anyways. So now this kicks Gordon back to 3rd. And I believe the 27 of Owen Miles has now broken inside of the top 5 with a 39.952. Man, that bubble spot, though. This bubble spot, I think we're going to be focusing on that here for a little bit. My goodness gracious. Now Terry Walker is in the bubble position. His 40.037 is just barely holding on over the 77 of Allison Rain, who's just 15/1000ths of a second back. The times are actually pretty gosh darn competitive as of right now. Oh, we had another crash. Oh, my. That's Austin Christie that just hit the wall. Somebody was in pit road. The wow, okay. So that's Casey Wells that's trapped on pit road. How did you get all the way back there? How did you get back there? My goodness. So now that's 2 replays that we're going to go back and look at. Austin Christie with a lot of damage. Christie comes in, as of right now, with less than 5 minutes to go, 32nd with a 40.345, and that looks like that is unfortunately, if none of these other drivers are going to be able to improve their lap times, that's where he may start. Emily Anderson dead last with a 40.562. From being one of the fastest here in Indianapolis to now one of the slowest, unfortunately. And from the looks of things, that may mean that she will have to start this race in the caboose alongside the 98 of Darian Tawn. Meanwhile, let's focus back in on the bubble spot. Terry Walker still just hangs on. He's still hanging on, just barely. See if we can find Terry Walker again. Yep, Walker is on pit road. But yes, as of right now, he just barely is still hanging on over Allison Rain. Just by 15 1,000ths of a second. Let's see if we can go follow Allison Rain here. Let's see if we can find her. And oh, there's Allison Rain. So Allison Rain, who will be taking part full-time in the RCOM Papa John's Truck Series, will be getting in the Indiana Bash tomorrow, actually, in this case. Yeah, tomorrow, actually. Yeah, tomorrow. So now, Rain competing in tomorrow's RCOM Papa John's truck race, along with a good chunk of these drivers that will be racing in that event, has now been kicked to 15th. Nathan Stapleton on the bubble with a 40.015. Allison Rain and Terry Walker get kicked back. So does Jeff Leifler. And Wyatt Walker has jumped to 8th with a 39.975, tied with Reggie Fogelman, with closing in on a minute and a half to go. This is actually getting pretty intense here. Pretty gosh darn interesting. Once again, as I mentioned, Nathan Stapleton on the bubble. The 14 of Mitchell Hodak is 20th with a 40.070. If he wants to get inside the top 12 to battle for the pole in the final round, he is going to have to figure out a way to get a good draft. Either that or just do the best you can to run in your tire tracks and do what you can. I don't know what else to say. Under a minute to go. This is why I should not record in the mornings immediately after I wake up. But still, you see Landon Smith Jr. make his way back out on the racetrack in car number 2. Right now, Landon Smith Jr. 26th. With a 40.167. And looks like that's where he's going to be starting for the Indianapolis 100. And the 14 of Mitchell Hodak goes to pit road. And he did not improve his time whatsoever. Gets kicked back to 21st. But the two drivers that are holding on to that final train, just barely hanging on, the Ganassi cars of Chris Reynolds and Nathan Stapleton, are just 7 and 9/1000ths of a second ahead of Jeff Leifler with 30 seconds remaining, and Joey Miles goes to the bubble spot. Miles with a 40.006 goes to the bubble spot. Oh my. Stephen Colon is in there with a 39.97. I'm trying to find Joey Miles. Where's Joey? There he is. He is just on the bubble spot. This kicks Nathan Stapleton out. And I don't know if the times are finalized, but still. Oh my goodness. So from the looks of things, the drivers and the number 83 of Henry Dahl goes to the top. And we're going to be crashing. Stephen Colon in the wall. But it does not matter. The times are finalized. And as we take a look at a replay, on the left-hand side of your screen will be the drivers that will be advancing. And also the drivers that will be sitting out this one and will be settling with their starting positions for Friday's Indianapolis 100. So let's go back and take a look at the two incidents that happened. You already saw the third one live, but let's go ahead and take a look at the first two that probably in real life should have brought out a red flag to stop the event. But still, let's go back and take a look. So this is the first incident. This is with Joey Miles. And he caught up to these three drivers. We're going to slow this down here for you. And Mitchell Hodak opened up the door for Miles to drive underneath. He drifts up, gets into the left rear tire, and turns Hodak sideways. And then Hodak hits the wall, so does Joey Miles. And they shoot back up across the track. And both of them, man, that hit from Miles jacked Hodak up in the air. And then both cars are tumbling side over side, almost not even close to synchronized. But my goodness gracious. What a ride for both Mitchell Hodak and also Joey Miles. Miles was able to drive away, but not the number 14 of Mitchell Hodak. So this was a similar situation here. Casey Wells in the 24. Looks like this happens going into turn 4. Wow, that happened so fast. Let's slow that down here. So 3 wide going into turn 4. Wells gets into Kathy Jabbar. And then they both get sideways. They shoot back up the track. Jeff Leifler gets collected. And who's that? Is that the 9? That is the 9 of Chris Reynolds. Man, Kathy Jabbar up against the catch fence. Or up really against the wall. The number 20, that's the 24. As you see the 9 hit the wall really hard. That inside wall extremely hard. But you see that 24 of Casey Wells tumbling side over side, end over end. Eventually is going to clear this pit wall right here. And once again, Gordon gets a really exciting view of that. This is the second Indy 100 practice session in a row that he's seen this. And let's rewind this a little bit more. Now this time let's focus on Austin Christie. Go with the aerial view here. Sees the smoke, he goes through it. The problem is with when your vision is so limited whenever you go through the smoke. You see Henry Dahl go for a spin after hitting somebody, but still, your vision is so limited whenever you're going through the smoke, because as soon as you clear it, there's a 50-50 chance that there's a car on the other side of that smoke. And so, I mean, I don't know, because usually your vision is just very limited. But let's go on board with Elijah Gordon to see what kind of view he had as he was going down pit road. So from the looks of things, I think Gordon was involved in this. He was following along in Casey Wells' tire tracks. And there's the 3 wide, there's the trouble. And he was involved. Just a simple slide into pit road, and there's the 24. Wow. Nothing compared to what happened 2 years ago in the final practice for Indianapolis 100, but still, man, the tale of turns 3 and 4. Nabs him again. But, that pretty much does it for round 1. But when we come back, final round of... We're going to be on the final round of Indianapolis 100 knockout qualifying. The Fast 12 move on to the final round. And we're going to be figuring out who will start on the front row for the Indianapolis 100. So stick around, folks. We'll be right back. We're back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and there was a change that was made. 5 minutes for these 12 drivers to get out on the racetrack as quickly as they can to lay down the best qualifying lap as possible. Casey Wells answers the call, and Wells gets out onto the racetrack first. Colin Cropley's coming out next. As they come off, as Casey Wells comes off pit road, she will be the first one to lay down a qualifying time. The rest will pretty much tell the story on who will have the fastest car, well, really the fastest time, to start on the front row. Or really the pole, more importantly, the pole position for the Indianapolis 100. So now, the number 24 of Casey Wells is on the clock. Kathy Jabbar's out. Reggie Fogelman has come out. Stephen Colon is out. The others that have yet to come out are Moscow, Gordon, Walker, Owen Miles, and also the number 83 of Henry Dahl. So Casey Wells, as she comes through turn 4, heading back into the start-finish line. Let's see what that first lap is going to look like. A 40.314 to start things off. Now we got to wait for other drivers to lay down their times. Colin Cropley with a 40.176. Joey Miles is now out on track. Henry Dahl is coming out. Oh boy, this will be very interesting. Stephen Colon third with a 40.345. Kathy Jabbar moves up to 5th. Gordon, I believe, just got on the clock. Here comes Titan Nicholas to the stripe. He too is on the clock. Third with a 40.72278 as Colin Cropley goes to the top with a 39.977. Oh boy. This is getting pretty wild. Joey Miles second with a 40.195. And now Reggie Fogelman goes to second with a 40.191. Cologne third with a 40.194. Excuse me. Closing in on a minute and a half to go. Miles goes up to second. Now Henry Dahl goes up to second. 40.0117. Colin Cropley even bested his time with a 39.888. Getting a good draft here on the number 8 of Joey Miles. Val Moscow goes up to second with a 39.969. See if he's using the draft to his advantage. Maybe just barely over his Penske teammate Wyatt Walker, who is 7th with a 40.199. Oh my goodness. Under a minute to go. Cropley bested his time again with a 39.775. Oh boy. 30 more seconds to go. Pretty much everybody is running in single car formation, whereas only two parts of the racetrack drivers are not. Moscow's technically paired up with Wyatt Walker, while Colin Cropley's paired up with Joey Miles. Now Miles is behind Colin Cropley. Let's see what he can do here. And we're going to have some added time. 40 seconds for these drivers to put down one more good lap time before it's all said and done. Moscow is second with a 39.833. Colin Cropley bested his time for yet, I think, either a third or fourth time. A 39.726 coming to the stripe. Joey Miles, 39.837. I think that may be all she wrote here. Let's see what Moscow says at the line. Didn't best his time. The pole sitter for the Indianapolis 100 is Colin Cropley in the number 28. His 39.726 trumps them all, and he will be starting on the pole for Friday's Indianapolis 100. And Val Moscow, driving the number 3, will be starting alongside him. Oh my. That sure was something. That sure was something. But, drivers, to your cars. Pretty much, you'll see the results on the left-hand side of your screen as of right now. But, man, these knockout qualifying sessions, especially when there's just so little time on the line, these actually do get pretty entertaining. And hopefully you guys like that. And coming up tomorrow, man, we've got got a couple of events coming up tomorrow. First off, we've got final practice for the Indianapolis 100. So that way these drivers can get out on the racetrack one more time to feel out their cars before the big day. Man, that's going to be fun. And then right after that will be the season opening race for the RCOM Papa John's Truck Series. That will be at noon Eastern, either that or 2 p.m. Eastern. You'll know by the time the actual premiere gets set up for that race. But still, man, either way, it should be very fun for these next few days. And it's going to be very interesting. But one more time, congratulations to Colin Cropley, your pole sitter for the 2022 Indianapolis 100. That pretty much does it for me. I'm Elijah Leonard signing out, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow for more Indianapolis 100 festivities.